Hey, welcome to another one of my videos. Right behind me is what they call the Rock Church. Now this isn't lame Christian rock we're going to be experiencing.
Don't ever leave me, Jesus. I couldn't stand to see you go.
This is actually a church embedded inside the rock. I'm excited. You going to join me? Let's go in. Temppeliaukion Church, as the Finnish, I think, might say. But to you and I, the Rock Church. This church is a Lutheran church in the Turku neighborhood of Helsinki. It is known as the Rock Church because it's built directly into solid rock. Plans for this church began in the early 1930s when a plot of land was selected for the building and a competition for the design was held. The original plan by a chap called J.S. Siren, who won an architectural competition to design the church, was interrupted in the early stages when World War II began in 1939. After the war, there was another architectural competition. His designs were thrown out and subsequently won by Timo Sommelian and Tumo Sommelian in 1961. We shall call them the T brothers as their name is very difficult to pronounce. For economic reasons, as it was the 60s after all, the suggested plan was scaled back and the interior space of the church was then reduced to about 1/4 of its original plan. Construction began in February 1968 and the rock temple was completed for the consecration in September 1969. So as man had just landed on one of the greatest rocks that we see in the sky, the Finns had built this impressive church into the rocks of central Helsinki. But how did they do it? The interior was excavated and built directly out of solid rock, and the light that you see from above is the natural light that enters through the skylight, which is surrounded by a center copper dome. The church is used frequently as a concert venue due to its most excellent acoustics. The acoustic quality is created by rough, virtually unworked rock surfaces. The iconic rock walls were not included in the original competition entry, even though the T brothers had considered the idea, because they believed it was too radical for the competition jury. But when the conductor, a Paavo Berglund, shared his knowledge of acoustics from some of the best music halls, and the acoustical engineer, Mari Pajo, gave requirements for the wall surfaces, the T brothers discovered that they could fulfill all the requirements for the acoustics by leaving the rock walls exposed in the church hall. The Temppeliaukio Church, aka the Rock Church, is one of the most popular tourist attractions in the city. 500,000 people used to visit this church annually pre-COVID. Maintaining the original character of the square is the fundamental concept behind the building. The idiosyncratic choice of form has made it a favorite with professionals and aficionados of architecture. All of the church furnishings that you see were designed by the architects. The organ has 43 stops and 3,001 pipes. That's one hell of an organ. There are no bells in this church. A recording of bells is played via loudspeakers on the exterior walls when needed. Before the construction of the church was even fully complete, it made the headlines when on the nights of the 16th and the 17th of July 1968, a group of Christian students painted in large letters BIAFRA in several places on the exterior walls of the building to bring attention to famine then going on in Biafra, which had declared independence from Nigeria in 1967. The argument of the students, then part of the 60s student revolution movement, was that money spent on this new lavish church could be better spent on aid to Biafra and elsewhere in Africa. Thankfully, those Christian hippies didn't get their way, and Helsinki was made greater thanks to the perseverance of those behind the Rock Church. This is where everyone hangs their coats, obviously. You don't want coats lying around during service. Being in the rock face isn't without its problems. As we see, there's a bit of a leak here coming through. We've got water, but we've got a drainage system that allows sort of natural drainage to take place. So any leaks that do happen goes down into sort of the lower rocks. It's quite unique, really. Let me know what you think of this Rock Church. I'm a big fan, but let me know in the comments what you think. If you like this content, give it a quick thumbs up, maybe share it with someone that you know, and if I can tempt you to subscribe, this really helps the channel grow. Well, what a magical church that is, and I have to say, wow. If you come here in the summer, it's very achievable that you can climb up onto the rocks and you can go into the little park that's behind it. But as it's freezing and it's, to be honest, the snow is a bit wet, so I'm not going to do that. I'm going to head off and try and see if I can capture some more beauty of this wonderful country. So if you like this content, click that subscribe button, click that like button, and I will see you in the next video.